we are grinding to reach King's Castle, and we will be beating it today. And honestly, this episode is about to be really crazy. And also, we just like immediately leveled up. Now, why I think it's gonna be pretty crazy is because of this new Haunted Horde event, which comes from the 2024 Halloween event. But again, the way that this series kind of functions is that for every single dungeon, we have to change classes. So yeah, Desert, we were a warrior, and of course, Winter, we were a mage, and now we're back to warrior. However, for King's Castle, we will have to once again switch to mage. So truly, this episode's about to be crazy, and also we are already at like 1,000 crystals. That is insane. And we already leveled up again. Bro, that is insane. 2 levels in a single dungeon. But anyways, we are on the final boss. Definitely a good utility with warrior is that our sword actually does a lot of damage. However, this will change very shortly. But you can see we are literally demolishing his health. And isn't like freaking Winter Outpost where the bosses have like 50 billion health. But we got literal trash. Hey, it is what it is. But if we look further into this event, you will see that we have a lot of cosmetics. And yeah, we already own most of them, well, at least most of the armor ones. And that is just because of the fact that this is my main account. But there are a few more we have to get. Like, we have to get a lot of weapons, some titles, and also some of these. Also, I just realized that you could actually buy, you could actually buy, like, you could buy skills for certain levels. Like, this shockwave spell works for level 60. I could actually use that if I was a mage. However, wait, no, there's a shock blast right here, which gains a movement speed boost and release a blast of energy. Yo, low-key, I kind of want to buy that. I don't know if this is good at all. I'm gonna buy it though, because we're literally level 60. Let's see if this is worth it. Okay, we got Shock Blast. Oh man, let's see this new spell that I spent 1,000 hordes on or whatever. And you can see, wait, what? That didn't do anything. Wait, so whenever you use this, it'll like charge up attack and you just swing your sword and kill them. That is actually so sick. Look at this. If I just charge it up, boom, he's instantly dead. Dude, this ability actually is so sick. And something kind of ironic about this is that most people who are my level probably do not know how to buy any of the cosmetics and stuff. So this is virtually useless to them. Yeah, it's like the people who don't need it are the people who buy it. And you can see if I charge up my attack, I can just, oh my gosh, that is a crazy amount of damage. Dude, this spell actually rocks. I'm gonna be honest, I was not expecting this spell to be that good. We charge up attacks and just literally one-shot all of the mobs. We will definitely be getting the mage version though for King's Castle so that we could use it when we switch classes, because I think we're going to be using this spell for quite a long while. And you can see we've already accumulated almost like 400 emblems or whatever. And yeah, I really respect the fact that they made it like quite easy to get these things. They didn't make you have to literally grind your entire life to get crystals. But dude, I freaking love this spell and I didn't even know it was this good. Literally, this is the first time I've ever seen or used this spell. And it is goated. And we leveled up to level 64. Just 1 level away from Nightmare. Defeating the final boss, Grand Size. 3 pieces. Actually, that's somewhat decent. Now, something I kind of want to preemptively do is really just buy like every single spell over here. Also, probably some Greg bounties too. I didn't even know you could buy them. But dude, buying like this Shock Blast, we already got that. Getting this one that's for literally level 150. These are all going to be super good. And yeah, I just kind of want to preemptively buy this because obviously we're not going to reach like level 150 before this event ends. Now for the final stretch of insane mode, you will notice that we are in wave defense. And truly, it has been a long time since we've been here. Yeah, I usually don't farm wave defense, mostly because of the fact that I'm literally never on wave defense. Like, usually I'm level 110 plus. But dude, it honestly feels nice, and wave defense really is a good way to progress. But this spell, like, not only can you just do damage with your sword, but it'll also do like a shockwave, which will actually hit a lot of enemies. Yeah, undoubtedly, I would highly recommend you pick up all of the spells. I don't even know if the other ones are good, but I would imagine they are. Bro, I can only imagine using like this spell for volcanic chambers, using it for any of the future dungeons. Well, I guess we'll be using the next spell, but this is literally gonna carry us. It should just be like these last groups of monsters, this right here, and we are officially level 65. And before we go and play Nightmare mode, let's just go and collect our daily. And seeing what we get Bro, that's so much. No, that's not good. We literally got a mage ability. I mean, we did get a weapon, so I can't complain, but it's mid. And looking at our new set, it looks like actual trash. However, it should be enough to, like, get the job done. But anyways, let's play Nightmare Mode for the very first time. Now, I've decided to dress up in something slightly more presentable. And yeah, this is one of the new Halloween cosmetics, and honestly, probably my favorite one. But checking out our damage in Nightmare Mode, you will see that we do an insane amount. We still do great damage, mainly carried by the fact that this literal spell is so good. Yeah, the Halloween spells, especially for their respective dungeon, are very, very great. And we're actually reasonably close to being able to afford the mage version. I believe it's 1,000, which is of course nice. But you can see we've already made it to the second boss. And truly, King's Castle is right around the corner. And I really, really do love that dungeon. I think King's Castle, of all dungeons, probably ages the best. Like, the ideas shown in that dungeon are some of the greatest in the entire series. Also, something nice about this spell is it actually gives you a slight speed boost. It's nothing to really go home about. You'll see that it moves me like barely fast. However, it's something decent. Wait, I wonder if I triple charge it? Okay, no, it doesn't do anything. You can only charge it once. Well, we made it to the Spider Queen, who I absolutely hate. Yeah, we won't have to fight this boss no more once we get into freaking Kings. Hopefully we pull like a legendary or something. That would definitely help this progression, so we could really just make our way up, because we do a lot of damage. However, it's nothing really crazy. Like, I think eventually, if we're getting some good spells, we should be able to one-shot mobs. I truly do respect the fact that they actually made this event grindable. You guys remember last Halloween, bro? They had the freaking grindiest event ever, where you had to do like 1,000 runs of this freaking Halloween dungeon just to get some basic cosmetics. Yeah, it's really good that they're starting to let their gear kind of go. I truly do think that the devs actually respect the fact that players usually don't have the time to grind out these updates, nor do they really care too much about a few cosmetics. It's really just a good side bonus of progressing through the game. And that's truly the most I would ever like to see events be. Also, I don't know if they'll ever do this, but bro, Pirate Island truly does need a rework. They did some lighting changes, but I truly think they are for the worst. Like, really, I preferred the, naturally lighted areas. And I really do think that some good reworks would make this dungeon a lot better. Really, it's gonna be nice though, having this speed spell for a dungeon like the Underworld, where you have to walk for so long. That's usually like my biggest complaint with these older dungeons is the walking. And also we leveled up and got, oh my gosh, that's trash. Wow, that is trash. Now, boys and girls, I've been kind of on a side mission that doesn't really have anything to do with Noob to Godly, but that side mission is to buy every single cosmetic in the entire game. And we are pretty much done with armor cosmetics, which means that we literally own like all of the shop armor cosmetics. And now it's on to just like buying all of the enchants and different weapons. And what happens when you buy all of the armors is it'll just give you like cosmetics that you already have. Like, I've had the incinerator for, probably a year or so. But boys, we have 784,000 platinum, and we will be getting all of the cosmetics. Yeah, it's not really related to Noob to Godly, but I just kind of wanted to say that. But subscribe if you want to see a cosmetic showcase, because I have a lot. What's kind of surprising is that literally in like less than 5 games, we're going to be in King's Castle. So stay tuned for that. And also, we got 1,000 crystals at this point, so we can actually go and buy the mage spell. Truly, the biggest thing we need, though, is like better gear, man. Especially armor. We're literally using Winter Outpost armor. The main thing that's carrying is that this dungeon got so heavily nerfed. If I was playing on a 1.0 version of this dungeon, it wouldn't even, I wouldn't be able to beat it. Really, though, I am just living it right now, because I know that progression will slow down a lot. If you guys have seen my other 2 Noob to Godlies, you know how much progression slows down. Especially around that Volcanic Chambers range. Really, Ghastly Harbor, that is where it gets brutal. But honestly, I'm up for it. When you do Noob to Godly, you have to make it through the full journey, whether it be the highs or the lows. And quite a huge low is this freaking boss. Dude, I hate this boss so much. The Spider Queen has to be like the most annoying boss in this game. But what's truly gonna give us a huge head start for King's Castle is gonna be the fact that we get the spell. Like, the mage version of this spell will be such a godsend for that dungeon. I mean, quite literally, it's a godsend for this one. So really what I think I'm gonna do before we get into Kings is, if we don't have like any good gear, I'll probably just buy like a Greg bounty and do like a run of Pirate Island, so we can just get all of that King's gear. Yeah, realistically, if we do not get any good Pirate Island stuff, that is gonna be what we need to do. But maybe the demonic pirate captain will give us something good. Also, what's a little bit interesting about this like swing spell is that you don't even need to hit enemies. It literally just works as like an extra spell if you just swing. Really, to anyone who's lower level, I would recommend you get these spells or the level 150 version, because I feel that when this event actually goes out, these spells are going to go up in value by a large amount. So I'd highly recommend anyone get them, because you're going to get a lot for them in the future. And defeating the boss gives us, well, we got a weapon, but it's not great. Truly, I have been kind of disappointed with this luck. But of course, we can go and buy the new spell, which I believe is called Shockwave. Yeah, it's like the mage version. And for some reason, it does like melee attack damage, which doesn't make sense because that's opposite to the mage class. But if we look at what it does essentially the exact same thing. Man, to be honest, I have been kind of tired of this luck. Really, we have not been getting anything good whatsoever. And it truly is disappointing. It kind of speaks to the state of the game for like older dungeons. Also, we leveled up. But like I was saying, this game really doesn't have a pity loot system. It just kind of gives you whatever it feels like. And I definitely think that this is an issue which could be fixed with just like a lot more loot drops, or like a pity reward system where maybe you can only get gear of your class for older dungeons. Or even better, maybe you get the gear that you have the worst stuff in. It really just needs to be less brutal with the RNG for like older dungeon to really get more of an appeal for new players, because I feel like this is a serious issue. In my personal opinion, I think all older dungeons should have like +4, +5 loot. And I know it sounds crazy, but really I think that would make this game a lot better. Yeah, truly, if you wanted to, you could probably grind out this entire event and get like everything in the shops in probably like 10 hours. Like, it is such a short event that you can get so many crystals from. Legit, I already own most of the cosmetics, and the only thing I've been doing with this game is doing like my boss raid challenges. Yeah, this gear is honestly just terrible, bro. How, like, we do barely any damage. Also, we're coming close to doing our quest, which is also going to be good, really, because we need XP. I already feel that the progression has slowed down quite a bit, so we're going to need to level up as fast as possible. But if you guys didn't watch the last episode, we actually have like 58 hours of XP boost, along with the fact that we're using an alternate character slot, which does give us a bonus like 40% XP or something like that. Not to mention, we do have VIP too. Yeah, we are going literally crazy with the XP. Every single form of XP boost you could possibly have. And also we got Greg, which makes me literally so happy. Dude, finally we get Greg. Legit, Greg is probably the biggest blessing we could ever have. Also, yo, are we about to die on Greg? Oh my gosh, we are low. That is not good. And I wasted my ability. No, that's not good. Dude, low-key, I gotta kind of lock in. We ideally want to do about half of his health in one cycle, and this, we did about half. I'm fine with that. Also, we died. Yo, how did we die on Greg? No, that's not good. Wait. Oh, what? Bro, wait. No. If we don't collect this, we're literally screwed. We are actually screwed if we don't collect this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is just a guaranteed loss, I think. Yeah, there's zero chance of trying. This is literally a guaranteed loss. Bro, that is freaking annoying. But anyways, we're on the final boss, and maybe he can make up for the loot that I did not get. And no, he did not. Wow. Why is my luck so bad? Dude, that's not even funny. Well, this game is absolutely depressing me. So yeah, let's go and just buy this kitchen knife, because that is very appropriate. And equip, yeah, like this gothic witch. Chat, we now look like a very, very creepy character. But man, maybe this will make our luck actually kind of good. Also, this cosmetic, yo, this cos actually looks kind of cool. It's very basic, but one of the more cool ones I see. I am kind of tempted to get this Greg bounty. I am not just kind of, I am very tempted. But honestly, let's just give it a try. Maybe we'll get something good. I mean, we have a literal machete in our hands, so maybe it'll actually do some more damage. Truly, I do love the speed boost that this gives, though. Like, the speed boost that this ability gives really does come in handy for just avoiding attacks, because it's not really intended that players would have a speed boost by this dungeon, at least in the design of the enemies. So especially for a dungeon like Canals, being able to run faster will be so good. Because if we're struggling to even beat like this boss over here, bro, I could only imagine the king in freaking King's Castle. That would be brutal. Now, as much as I do love character slots, I really don't think that they do give enough of a reward. I've never really used character slots for a series besides this one, and it's just for the reason that you can't really use 2 accounts at the same time. You can't play on 2 slots at the same time. I really do think that character slots should give a bigger reward, like maybe more XP boost, or just like specific cosmetic armors. Or maybe even like the last Excalibur rune if you get like another character slot. Because truly, while they are good to use and I think they're a great addition, I just think it's not really worth it to use as someone with like just 1 account. But anyways, the final boss should be defeated. To get, oh, no, that's not good. We did get a weapon, but it's not great. However, we did collect one of our quests, which is somewhat nice. Yeah, I guess I'll take the weapon. The weapon isn't terrible. Now, boys and girls, this truly is it. In just 2, like actually 1.5 level, we will be in King's Castle. And of course, to prepare for that, we have to get better gear. Now, in order to accommodate the fact that we are not getting like any good drops, we are doing hardcore. And we're using this pretty decent weapon, which yeah, allows us to almost one-cycle the enemies. And one thing you'll notice about this series is that I'm going to be changing cosmetics a lot. If I ever have like some drippy gear, I'll obviously be using that. However, most of the time I won't be. But yeah, we can claim another quest, which is 1,800 enemies, and we level up to level 69. Yeah, I think if we can actually claim another quest, which we will be able to by, I think, the Spider Queen, we should level up. I kind of wish I would have bought a Greg bounty, however, it kind of is what it is. It's not a huge deal. So what I really want to do after is just like go do another round of Pirate Island and get that King's Castle Greg bounty. And I think I'm going to be doing this throughout the entire series. I don't think it's just going to be exclusive to this dungeon, just because we do have a lot of Greg bounties and we may as well get some decent gear. Also, then maybe half of the comments won't be the fact that I traded gear for my alt or some cheating allegation, but it really is quite a bit of a noticeable damage increase just because this spell is very good. And yep, once again we claim the quest, which should allow us to level up by this game. But the thing with King's Castle is we're gonna have to switch classes. Now, I believe the good spell for a mage in King's Castle is like the electric boom spell, which we can use in synergy with the new spell that we got. So primarily what I am hoping to get from this dungeon is just some good mage gear. And even in our inventory, we have like some decent mage stuff like this void plate helm, which isn't amazing, but we have like a purple staff here too. So we do have quite a bit of stuff. And it's good that we didn't level up on this dungeon, so we can play the next one. And this is also a really good drop. We got like a green mage piece. I'm happy with that. But boys and girls, this should be our final game. And I activated a bounty, so hopefully we will level up before we actually use the bounty. Honestly, we have kind of sped through this dungeon. I'm feeling pretty great. Really, this series is off to a very amazing start. However, things will definitely get hard eventually in the future. However, I'm hoping to make this one of the best Noob to Godliest ever drop, and also one of the shortest too. Truly, I think we could do this in under like 25 episodes, maybe even under 20. Last series, we did get like an XP boost event where they did like 2x XP, which helped a lot. However, I've learned a lot of different strategies when progressing, which might make this even faster. Yeah, boys, I want to make this the definitive Noob to Godly. And oh, we're so close. Good thing we didn't get Greg. Oh, that would be so tough if we got Greg. But with that, we leveled up to level 70, which is a huge level, bro. In my eyes, level 70 is where things starts getting really difficult. Well, not really difficult, but that's kind of more of like the lower intermediate territory. But I can guarantee that he will be spawning right about now. And yup, there we go. And we do have to beat this guy. If we do not beat this guy, we are absolutely and utterly screwed. It honestly might not be a bad idea to get like 2 of these different abilities, so I can actually just maximize damage. Bro, I literally gotta lock in. Our damage is not great. If I can get 1 more cycle in, we will be good. My Q spell does like no damage, however my E spell does a lot. And this is terrible. No, we are Dude, if we lose Greg, I'm gonna be so depressed. No. Bro, let me beat this dude. We will not be able to do King's Castle if we don't beat this guy. Bro, I am so locked in. Oh my gosh, he's like 2-tap. No. Dude, I literally screwed myself. No chance a Greg bounty just goes down the drain like that. Bro, oh my gosh, no. That is so brutal. I literally lost a Greg bounty. Bro, I don't even want to finish this boss. That is upsetting. And the insult to injury to give me this, bro. Oh my gosh, that is so brutal. Well, we're kind of forced to just like play this dungeon. As much as I hate, using it with the gear that we have, not much of a thing that we could do. But man, let's play King's Castle for the very first time and truly pray that I'm able to beat this dungeon. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are in this dungeon. And man, for just 2 episodes, it is crazy that we've reached this point. One of my all-time favorite dungeons in the entire game. However, we do have to really lock in to be able to beat this dungeon. But checking out our damage, we do... Oh my gosh, our damage is low, but it's still winnable. It is undoubtedly winnable. If I just do not die, like, basically at all, we could win this. Oh my gosh, this is quite brutal, but we could do it, man. We could do it. At least the clutch will make for, a good run. But man, it really just feels good to be in a different dungeon. Pirate Island, if I'm being honest, always does kind of get repetitive at the end, just because the map is quite bland. And I've decided to wear, like the King's cosmetic just to make it look good. And while our damage isn't amazing, I still have not lost hope. I really think that if bosses go well, we absolutely got this. Because keep in mind, we are using a speed spell, so it does give us quite a bit of an advantage. Also, we've got to, of course, take our daily screenshot, which, of course, is kind of wasting time. But man, we are really doing this dungeon. Truly, it is very easy, which will make up for our damage. Because if we can kill the enemies without taking too many deaths, that is probably better than us doing a little bit more damage. Deaths is such a huge thing with this game, and it will always be an aspect which makes up for gear. Well, we are on the Beastmaster, who is one of the best bosses. He is honestly such a cool boss. I really just like the set piece for this boss. Really, I like it for all of them. And his abilities are somewhat fun. They're very basic, however, they are fun to dodge. These older dungeons are just purely fun. They're not too difficult, but they're an enjoyable experience. And especially with speed spells, this makes it like 10 times more enjoyable. But that took such a long time to defeat him. Oh my gosh. Literally defeating that guy took like a minute straight of just hacking at his health, and we still have not died. This group right here, though, is where a lot of deaths happen. However, having that speed boost will always give us a huge advantage. And we're already on Archmage, dang. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be a clutch match. However, I know that we could do it. Yeah, it kind of feels like cheating to have this speed boost. It makes the dungeon so easy. Normally on this boss, which is like one of the hardest in the entire game, well, not hardest in the game, but one of the hardest seen so far, a lot of people die a lot, and that includes me. However, with these speed boosts, and I also believe we have like a speed boost potion, we're able to just tear through his health. And we once again defeated him, and you can see literally 1,700. I think after this game, I'm just gonna be buying stuff straight up. And at 2,000, we could legit just afford the level 150 spell. Honestly, this is going crazy. Also, I just realized that we are still using warrior gear. But to be honest, I think I'll probably make it a little thing with this series where if our gear is like absolute trash, we can use the gear from the previous dungeon. However, no new dungeon gear in the class. But we are on the king, which is the final boss. Man, hopefully we could do this. Yeah, it's super easy to dodge his attacks with like the speed spell. It's barely even a challenge, when normally this attack is like some of the most precise in the entire game. You have zero room for error when he does like his slash attacks. You have to be moving in the straightest line ever. But yeah, a new rule for this series, or a rule that might have already existed. Every time we reach a new dungeon, we can use the dungeon gear that we previously have gotten until we beat it for the first time. This boss is so tanky. But surprisingly, we've done it with 2 minutes left. I thought we'd have a lot less time, and we leveled up to level 72. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you look right here, you'll see that we have a mage set. And I know this weapon might be deceiving, but it's actually like a warrior weapon upgraded in mage, which is like the most cursed thing ever. And also what we could do is just go and buy like the other ability. Oh wait, no, it costs, oh my gosh, it costs 2,000. Well, I guess we'll have to save that for later. But yeah, let's just go and reset our points and put everything in this spell. Yeah, honestly, we need like way better gear. And once we get 2,000, which should be in this episode, we'll be able to actually go and buy that 150 spell. Now, we did get this Thunderous Blast spell right here, which is somewhat decent. And also this Mage spell, yo, it's kind of crazy. If you'll notice, the Mage spell actually like shoots a beam forward, which I believe is like better than the Warrior spell. But honestly, our damage as a Mage is quite a bit better than Warrior. Like, this is very, very beatable. But truly, I do love this dungeon. But this set kind of looks ugly, so I just equip a cause. Yeah, really, damage to the bosses is probably going to be what takes up more time. Like, these bosses, I feel, have quite a bit more health. But I truly do love this Mage spell. Like, the range it has is so much better than the Warrior. Like, look, I can literally hit the boss from all the way over here. That is so good. Yeah, I don't know if this mechanic of the game will start being used a little bit more. Like, where you can actually do damage with your staff. Like, for example, maybe certain staffs would be able to shoot projectiles. I would honestly love to see that for this game. And it's a cool idea that I'm seeing being explored. I wonder if I can hit him from here. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. This spell has so much rage. Now, what's really crazy, though, is that we are already coming close to Nightmare. I did not intend to do this in this episode. Underworld will guaranteed be soon. And we're back on the King, who's also similar to the cosmetic that I'm wearing. And we got, oh wow, we get trash. At least I got a staff, though, which we do need. Ladies and gentlemen, I have episode 3 on the screen for you guys, so definitely go check it out, because I think you'll probably like it. And for now, I'll see you guys later.